We're just 2 hours away from President Trump's State of the Union address. You can watch it live right here at 8 p.m. There will be an Olathe woman in the audience whose husband was killed last year in an alleged hate crime shooting. After her husband's death, she then had to fight to stay in the U.S. 41 Action News anchor Krista Dubell spent the day with her in D.C.
We've spent the whole day with Sunayana Dumala as she experiences Washington, D.C. She's met with legislators. But before we came to do this big day for her, visiting for the State of the Union, we sat down to talk with her about her fight to be legal in this country. When Sunayana's husband died, things changed very drastically for her, and this is her journey. Sunayana Dumala's husband, Srinivas Kuchibhotla, was killed a year ago in February, a victim of a hate crime. When her husband died, Sunayana's legal status passed with him, and she knew it almost immediately.
At that point of time, my head was still trying to process that what I heard is true, but then it did knew that I'll be going out of status.
Because her husband was here only on a temporary worker visa as opposed to a permanent residency, then when he was murdered, her immigration status vanished as well.
Sunayana's husband was here on a work visa. He'd been waiting for permanent residency since 2010. Currently, the United States allows 7% of those with work visas from any one country to become permanent residents each year. India has one of the highest number of skilled workers here on work visas, meaning it is harder for them to get permanent residency.
If Sunayana and her husband had been from any other country in the world, she would already be a United States citizen.
I am that rare example of what worst can happen.
For 10 months, Sunayana has filled out paperwork, worked with legislators like Congressman Yoder, worked with her employer and her late husband's employer, and attorneys to try and get her own work visa. And finally, on January 3rd, a call from her attorney.
And then at 10:30 in the night, she calls me. And then she says, Sunayana, it's approved. Like, what? Like, they approved your H1. I'm like, huh?
Sunayana now has her own work visa and can apply for permanent residency. But she'll have to wait, too. She and Congressman Yoder are now working together to spread awareness.
But it's not just her. It's hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Indian residents in our country that are here on high-skilled visas or other temporary H-1B visas that are being forced to the back of the line merely because of the country that they're from.
Maybe we would have gotten a permanent, and maybe at this point of time, I would have just focused on rebuilding my life rather than trying to fight for my status in the country.
So as you can see, it's been a very tough year for Sunayana, and she's very glad to be here legally on a work visa as she hears the State of the Union tonight and sits in this room full of others who've been invited to attend by their local congressman. She's met with legislators all day long. We've documented that on Twitter, and we'll be here throughout the night with full coverage tonight on 41 Action News at 10 as well. In Washington, D.C., Krista Dubell, 41 Action News.